Here's part 2 of story time. Where we left off was Annie's little brother asked me if I wanted to play hide and go seek, and therefore asking if his older brother wanted to play as well. I don't remember the name of Annie's little brother, but her older brother name was Brooks. They called him Shelton. Shelton is around 13, maybe 14 years old, same age as my brother. And so that day, Annie's little brother and Brooks, Annie's older brother, came outside and we began to start to play hide and go seek. Annie's older brother suggested that the younger brother would count and that me and him would go and hide. So as the little brother is counting, me and Shelton began to look for hiding places. He grabbed my hand and he told me that he knows a good hiding place for us to go. So I began to follow him, and as the little brother is counting, Shelton directed me to these tall bushes right against the apartments. So we hid behind there, and I crouched down so that the little brother couldn't see me. And as I was crouching down, Shelton, Annie's older brother, began to pull down his pants. And I looked up at him, confused. And he looked down at me. And he took my hand and placed it on his private areas. I'm trying to give as much detail as I can without breaking some guidelines, but he then asked me to give him fellatio. He expressed if I didn't do it that he would harm my aunt. I have multiple aunts, but at that time one of my aunts was living with us at that moment. And me being so young, I didn't want anyone to get hurt, especially my aunt. So I did what he told me to do. And afterwards, after that was over with, I could hear Annie's little brother calling out for his brother, Brooks. And that's when I ran and went in the house. Over the past few days, maybe weeks, I didn't go outside. And I guess he noticed, and that's when he started to come inside our home. I recall one day, me, my brother, and Brooks were all upstairs in our room, and I was so angry because I was sitting there as him and my brother were conversating, and he would pick on me, say things like, saying I'm fat and I'm ugly. And I felt so angry because I deep down I wanted to tell so bad what happened. But I thought about what he said to me, that he would harm my aunt. And so he proceeded to ask my brother if he can watch TV downstairs. And my brother told me to go downstairs and put the TV on for him. My mom was there also. She was in her room. And so my brother was in my room. And I proceeded to go downstairs and turn the TV on for him. As he sat down on the couch, he grabbed my arm and pushed me onto the couch and told me to lie down. And he said, if you make a sound, I'm going to hurt you. And he proceeded to S Amy right there on the couch while my brother and my mom were upstairs. The SA didn't stop. This happened over a course of a year until they moved. And there were times where I would go to any house because there would be no one at home. And Shelton would, I guess, babysit or watch over me until my mom or someone got home. And I remember one of those days to where no one was home and I had to go to any house. And me and Annie would play downstairs, and Shelton would call me up to their room. And to play it off, he would say, "Oh, we're going to play a game." And one of these games was called Tickle in the Dark. And you know where I'm getting this at, but he would even essay me while his other siblings were in a house in another room. During that time, my mood and my personality began to change and to shift. I became angry, irritated, sad, and depressed. It was like he would do things to taunt me or bully me, knowing that I couldn't tell anyone what was being done to me, what was happening to me. It was like he would even put me and Annie against each other. I remember me and Annie got into this little argument, and I was angry with her, and it was like I was taking my anger and frustration out on her because of what her brother was doing to me. And him and Annie one day decided to jump on me, took a broom and told Annie to beat me with it outside. And when I ran and tried to tell my brother, because he was home at the time, what happened, nothing happened. Nothing was done. And other times, he would bully me in front of my brother. And it got to a point where I got so angry that I began to fight back. My brother used to have this little BB toy. That's what I'm going to describe it. And that day, him and my brother were sitting on the porch talking, and I came outside. And he proceeded to call me names. And I got so angry that I took my brother's BB toy. And this was a real BB toy with the pellets and all. And I took that BB toy and proceeded to use that BB toy on him. But I felt like that me fighting back only made it worse. And I kind of always thought that looking back and reliving everything, I felt like there were signs, there were red flags. And I do remember my mom sitting me down, grabbing my hands, and looking deep into my eyes. And she asked me, "Has anyone ever touched you down there?" And I looked at her, and I wanted to tell her so bad. But I knew if I said anything, I knew I couldn't say anything. And I thought that it couldn't get any worse. But then this girl, she was older, around the same age as my brother, and she moved in a couple of months before Shelton and Annie moved. But stay tuned for part 3.